Our meeting is called order. I'm advised that mapedzama minutes enyu. My apologies, Mataura. Okay. In terms of our agenda, I have to make my statement and then we go to apologies. I welcome you all to this month's ordinary session of our Politburo. This meeting is being held against the backdrop of the upcoming commemoration of the 2-year mark since our party won the historic 2018 harmonized general elections. While conferences and constitutional meetings occasionally afford us the chance to review our performance, the fact that we have only 3 more years before the next elections must give impetus to a more diligent review of our performance to date. The party must therefore take this period to revisit the party manifesto with the view of accelerating the delivery of the promises we set out to undertake towards improving the quality of life of our people. Our party is a people's party and a party of order, structure, and discipline. Due process and the appropriate platforms must be used when undertaking such reviews. We should never give room to non-members to speak authoritatively on our behalf with regards pertinent political, economic, or social positions which the party has pronounced. A detailed mid-term review of the party manifesto will be held in December during our National People's Conference. Since our last meeting, our country continues to witness various developments across all sectors. On the economic front, a decision was made to put greater scrutiny on players involved with mobile money transactions. This was necessitated by suspected underhand dealings bordering on criminality by some errant mobile network players. Government also passed a decision to introduce the foreign currency auction system to stabilize our macroeconomic environment and tame the ever-escalating prices pegged against a fictitious runaway black market rate. I'm happy to note that stability is returning to the financial services sector and a trend is emerging showing the reduction of prices. As government, we envisage a situation where foreign currency resources and the raw materials are improved for the productive sector, as this will result in increased availability and affordability of goods, as well as the creation of jobs. Despite the debilitating drought, the tobacco sector has seen a positive change in the quality of the golden leaf delivered to the floors, as well as the prices offered. On the maize side, deliveries continue coming to GMB, which has been allocated adequate resources to ensure the timely payment to farmers. There is need to continuously review our strategies with regards to making sure that the winter wheat targets are met through both increased hectares planted and the yields produced per hectare. The Pfumvudza farming concept has been well received by our people, and I commend the structures of the party for their role in popularizing it and mobilizing our people to be productive-oriented. On energy, the water inflow into Kariba Dam is said to increase our hydro power generation capacity, thereby reducing power cuts as well as our power import bill. Greater efforts must be made to ensure that power on the national grid is used for the productive sector. Hence, the use of green energy solutions for domestic purposes must be encouraged and popularized. The construction of Wange 7 and 8 is on course, and I will soon visit Madebele North to tour other mining developments which will have a positive bearing on our country's energy and self-sufficiency. Road construction and other infrastructure projects are progressing well. Recently, Treasury released money towards the construction of Causeway Dam, as well as Gwai Shangani Dam, among others. Resources for road rehabilitation and bridge construction are also ongoing. Intervention by government has been a notable improvement, has seen a notable improvement in the water situation in the Bulawayo city, while other strategies are being developed to improve water and sanitation in other towns and cities throughout the country. On the health side, the strategies we adopted to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic have to date yielded positive results. Although there is a visible spike in the number of positive cases, largely due to returnees, we shall continue to strengthen our preventive measures as well as our testing and contact tracing capacity. I urge the party to continue to be in the forefront of raising the awareness levels in our communities of the dangers of this pandemic. The recent rapid spike of infections requires that we make another review of the COVID-19 lockdown measures soon. I recently held meetings with ministers of state for provincial affairs for all the 10 provinces where I discussed with them developmental issues in their respective provinces. In this regard, I emphasized the need to facilitate a people-centered economic development which will ensure equitable development towards the achievement of our National Vision 2030. I urge the party to work closely with these government functionaries to strengthen provincial economies. I have taken the opportunity to highlight some of the initiatives that we are undertaking for the good of the majority of our people. Never be fooled by those who cry louder than the bereaved with regards to the economic situation in our country. More often than not, they conspire with our detractors and are themselves inflictors of the pain our people are facing. Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. They are selfish, devious, cunning, and deceptive in their modus operandi. Hongu zvipopi hazvisunuri musu umwe chete. But as the party's senior leadership, we must be more vigilant, astute, and discerning. On the political front, we continue to see acts that seek to outrightly destabilize the peace, unity, and harmony we are enjoying, in particular through the use of platforms in the health, education, and security sectors. We shall never quiver or capitulate in the face of these machinations. ZANU-PF is a revolutionary party, a party of liberation, a party with a rich ideology, a rich history, and a vision for the future. This character of our party is stronger than any challenge we may face, no matter from what front or force. I urge those who purport to represent workers to do just that. It is a one-way traffic lane. Political ambitions and the views belong to another lane. Choose the lane you walk on. Those in politics must seek the mandate of the people every 5 years through the ballot box. That is the constitutional way, that is the rule of law, that is the democratic way. In between these years, I urge political parties to express their capacity to govern on correct platforms. Sadly, we are seeing opposition parties clamoring for space that we control as ZANU-PF, yet the local authorities under their purview are havens of corruption, malpractices, and poor service delivery. As a party, we have no interest in the politics of the opposition. Our agenda and the focus is to improve the quality of life of all Zimbabweans, leaving no one behind. Civil society organizations must stick to the functions and the roles for which they were registered. Those who deviate from their mandates will attract deregistration. Some of our guests of the state, our foreign embassies, are reminded that Zimbabwe is an independent and sovereign nation. They are once again dissuaded from interfering in our internal affairs and should stop forthwith the funding of destabilization activities in the country. As ZANU-PF, we are engaging and re-engaging not as a sign of weakness or a sign of surrendering our hard-won independence and the values we hold dear. No, not at all. It is because we know the value of international solidarity and a belief in a shared future for all mankind. Foreign missions who have crab-like tendencies stand warned and should restrict themselves to their diplomatic mandates. To churches and men of the cloth, as a nation, we are yearning for you to churn out the incorruptible word of God to nourish and uplift us as a nation. There are some who are dabbling in politics. Ko unoti pa ridzira shoko benyu ndiani kana topiringana kana kupishiringana mu politics uri mfundisi. Meanwhile, I commend the nation for their response and participation in the National Day of Prayer, which was held on 15 June 2020. I exhort us all to continue in prayer for our beloved nation. In conclusion, I once again encourage the party leadership to constantly interact with our membership in particular and the people in general. Let us always increase our awareness of the needs of the people and seek to serve them wholeheartedly, shunning corruption, working hard and leading with integrity. Lastly, I call on the party to report corruption activities to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, where it exists without delay. I thank you.